Testing 1, 2. Mother.
Really? Do you really have? This is how we're really gonna start off this damn podcast by this way. Luckily, we don't delete this at the end of the day anyway. So I'm like, damn.
Hi, friends. Did you miss us? Hey, the JCA Sports Podcast is finally back after a month of hiatus. Can't believe, it's a whole month of sports to catch up, but not really. But the JCA Sports Podcast here on Facebook Live. John Zaplayo, Jose Contreras, myself, Eric Saul Avila, here. Welcome to you guys back. Welcome back, guys. I missed you guys. It's been a long time. Lots to talk about. Lots to check up on. Ooh, I think we have a full plate, too, as well. I know we got Bulls to talk about. Playoff push, is it too late? Obviously the Blackhawks. What do you think playoff chances are? Is it call it done? Season's already over with. NFL draft next week. Or is our expectations for the Chicago Bears and what they're gonna do? And we're also gonna talk something. Me personally, we're gonna talk about it. Hardly we talk about it here, but
it's not just about you. First of all,
for the first time in my life, I was actually disappointed in a sport that I take near and dear to my heart. So yes, we're gonna get it all. Oh, and also our baseball teams too as well. Where are we looking at the first 17, 15, 16, 17 games of the season? Where do we look? How do our boys look? What are our expectations? Are they underachieving? Is there still more to come? I know, obviously, yes, there's still more baseball to come. But, right now we're just going to give it a little snippet of what we think about our boys. First things first, let's talk about it right now since they're playing it right now at this very moment, the Chicago Bulls, guys. Guys, they're 10 games under 500. I want to say they're 3 or 4 games back from the final 2 spots just to play that play-in game for the playoff. Guys, after the trade that they made, where we thought that it was like the biggest trade, we're going to be good and stuff like that, obviously it's been opposite of that. What do you guys think? What do you think, guys, the Bulls should do? I know Zach LaVine all of a sudden is out injured and stuff like that. Is it over with? Is the season already done with our Chicago Bulls? John, what do you think?
I wouldn't go about saying it's over personally. Do I think man, I think it's just I think they need to learn to mesh, It sucks that Zach went out. I think I read that it's like 2 weeks, but if you cut it close, like the Bulls have to, I guess, at least be 500 until Zach comes back. But then when Zach comes back, you got to hit the ground running to get that 8th seed. But so I wouldn't say it's over because they still got about like almost a month left. If they can make it to playoffs with momentum on their side, they can do some work in the playoffs. Even an upset, like we don't expect much, but they can get out the first round if they start to mesh.
Jose?
No, I mean it's disappointing because of the trade that we made, and where you would expect a little bit more. They didn't get worse, at least on paper. They gained another All-Star. You got rid of some players who weren't meshing. Got rid of some players who were inconsistent, who were injury prone, and yet it seems like they're almost a little bit worse than they were before. Now a lot can contribute to that. You know what I mean? They haven't clicked yet. There's still a lot to be worked on as far as chemistry, but this was Billy Donovan's biggest test to date here in the NBA. He inherited a team with Russell Westbrook before, and then he had CP3. Now he's here with younger players who are still finding themselves. So I still give Billy Donovan and the Bulls front office a ton of credit for what they did, and I still give them the benefit of the doubt because that's all we can do. The Bulls, in my eyes, got better. They just need to, continue to work and try to get this going. But right now, it's not looking so good.
Oh, yeah, definitely. As we go in here on Facebook, Naeem, our boy here, is saying the season's over, guys. With Zach out, it's tough to find chemistry between them. Had a stretch where they lost to Wolves and Wizards. And that's where he goes on to say, I think what hurt the Bulls, getting Vucevic and everybody who they got to as well, was the fact that they had, once they did that trade, I think they had like 2 or 3 games in a row, or they played like 3 of 5 or 4 of 5.
I think they lost like 4 in a row after that trade.
Right, all right, and it was one of those trades where they did the trade and it came to them at the wrong time. It came to them at the wrong time because less time to practice, nobody to to get that chemistry building, practices to where like Billy Donovan has his whole entire system. You know, obviously, yes, we all thought, oh, the pick and roll, Vucevic is one of those good that he could shoot from afar, blah blah, so on and so forth. Yes, you saw it in the first couple minutes and throughout the whole entire games, but you could tell like they were off. They were just off. And they're not really a good defensive team. They weren't a good defensive team, and it just felt like they got worse. It just felt like they needed it just felt like they just weren't there together at all. Period. So this team was built at the wrong time, and yes, it's good for the future. It's good for the Chicago Bulls. Yes, we need to know what we need to do from the Chicago Bulls and stuff like that. But I still feel like they still need a two pieces away. Now, if they play in the playing game, sure, great. I guess they can squeeze in, you know, have 2 games in the play-in game and stuff like that. But you got to go on a tear. And tonight, one of the tests right now is it's against the Hornets. And the Hornets are a really good team, although they don't have LaMelo, and that's what they thrive on. And obviously, they've been inconsistent ever since his injury. But he's coming back. And that's an opportunity to knock on the door on a team who's in 7th and 8th, and you still got to knock on the doors of the other teams too as well that's in the playoffs. So I kind of feel like it's kind of you know what, let's just wait on to next year. I think let's give this time to mesh. Let's give an off season with this team that you want to build around with. Let's get the players that you need. Hell, maybe even get a point guard in Lonzo Ball, who's sounds
I
like
think we have to get a point guard. That's
Yeah,
number one for sure.
right. Yeah, and it's
But
our boy Carbs, who was our you know, one of our daily listeners or listens to us on Norm. He says they need a point guard to lead and help a journal. But hey, if it's not this year, watch out next year. Possibly Bell. I'm gonna say Zach.
you mean Ball?
No.
Ball.
Bradley, Beal, Zach, and
Oh,
Bush
Beal.
for next year. Yeah. So you know, it's one of those where it's just like, do we want to see the Bulls in the playoffs? Yes. I think we got what we got. We were all excited about Bulls basketball in the beginning of
So
the season.
if the Bulls don't make the playoffs this year, you'd be happy with the way this season went.
It's progress.
It
It's
is probably
progress.
no. I know. I'm not saying it's not. I'm just asking if you'd be content with the season ending like this.
I'm content because at least they gave us excitement. I'm content because at least there's a path. I'm content
Okay.
because there's actually a plan in mind with AK. And yes, you're gonna inherit a team with, like I said, it's the same team. It was the same team last year, this year with Patrick Williams before the trade, and they were playing great, and they were doing way better than they were last year. Now you make the trades. AK said, okay, these are the guys I don't want. This is the players that I want. Granted, it didn't work out at the end of the day, but there's excitement. We never had
No,
this type of
I
excitement.
agree. I agree,
We
and
haven't had this
especially
excitement in 5 years.
considering if Zach stays out the rest of the season, I mean, honestly, risky. There's no point if he only comes back like a week. So,
Right.
but like I said, I'm content. We're happy with the way they transformed because, like we said, we've been preaching all year long. It's the same team from last year, and look at how much they've changed. You know,
Yeah, right.
prior to the trades.
Right.
You know, it's the same team from last year, and we still got a good squad going into next year. So I agree, I would be content too, because it's a complete turnaround from last year. Even if we don't make the playoffs, it's still a complete turnaround, and we're only trending up. We need to land, we need to land a big player this off season for sure. A decent point guard and a big player.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but to land a big player, you got to show him something. I think you could sell him on Levine and Vucevic and all that, but like you got to almost end the season strong in a bit. Obviously we all don't expect this team to win a championship, and I don't even think some of us don't expect this team to make the playoffs. Not this season. I agree with Eric that you need an off season for them to mesh and get the chemistry and get the players they need. But if you want to land a big time player that's going to get you over that hump, no big time player is going to want to come over here if the team that they have surrounding them isn't good enough. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying that this team isn't good enough, but they're showing right now that they still have a lot of work to do. So
Right.
I mean,
No, definitely.
it all depends. It all depends on what happens going forward.
Yeah, exactly. Guys, the John Conavi Sports Podcast here on Facebook Live. Jonathan Pelayo, Jose Contreras, Eric Avila here. We're talking about the Chicago Bulls. Guys, what do you think the Bulls should do? Are you content if the season ends today and the Bulls didn't make the playoffs? You let us know on our comments on the comments page here. Carbs also goes and says he also agrees with us that he agrees. He is content. There is some improvement with the front office. We got there's hope on the horizon and for the future. So yeah, and I think
Well
that's
said.
the
Well
thing.
said.
Yeah, and I think that's it. I think out out of all the basketball talk, finally, especially the Bulls, like we said, we're actually
It's
excited
finally
because
positive.
it's positive. It's positive vibes, and that's all we ask for, just for positive vibes here for our teams. The thing about it is though, right? And I want to say this is like Jose said, like we gotta bring in a big fish. We need to bring in a big free agency. We say we are content with Lonzo Ball, yes, or we're content,
But see,
or that's the
I
program.
don't consider landing Lonzo a big splash.
No, no, you're right. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's not a big splash. Maybe it's a piece that we need to help off this team, right? Or like Harp says, with Bradley Beal, maybe that's that one-star player to get us there. But at the same time, it's one of those instances where you look at it and it's just like you have Vooch, you have a two-time All-Star. He's very respected. He knows what he knows what he is. You got Zach LaVine, a young star coming on the uprise, right? It depends what you do with Laurie. It depends what you do with anybody else. You make that maybe that Lonzo pickup is probably something that they need that could actually attract a big free agent where they could be like, okay, cool, 2-year, 3-year max, 2-year option, something like that, and then we're already in contentions for the East. It it's one of those where it's just like if the Bulls play their cards right, literally within a year, the Chicago Bulls could probably fight for the Eastern Conference. It's just, again, it's hard to align it. You have a young core with LaVine, Vooch being the helpful person right there too as well. Who else am I spacing on? I feel like I'm spacing on Patrick Williams too. He's already shown. Yes, he's hit the rookie wall, but he has improved himself and he has proven that he could ball too as well. So to go back on the point, yes, I think we all said it. We're on agreement. We're content if the season ended today, but there's improvement on the Chicago Bulls routes, and there's hope for the near future. So,
All right,
we have
enough agreement. What are you trying to debate about?
that.
I've been
Yeah,
itching for a month to debate with you guys. What's up?
exactly. But we'll get there. We'll get there, guys. Let us know on the Facebook comments. The John Konavi Sports Podcast here on Facebook Live. We're gonna take a quick break, but before we do so, Carbs goes on the comments and it says getting Lonzo will be okay. Not a big splash, more like a water balloon splash. We need a tsunami type splash, which is an agreement. I think a tsunami type splash is all of a sudden you see what's his name?
A tsunami splash would be if Kawhi opts out and comes
exactly a Kawhi Leonard. AD opts out and he was like, I want to play in Chicago. Let's do it. It's something along those lines. Like that's a tsunami type. Like again, he agrees. That's like a splash of water, but at least let that water make a puddle, and then somebody just steps on it and bam, Kawhi Leonard, boom. You know what I mean? So, or AD, boom. Splashing right away because that at least will give us.
Who knows? I mean, hey, they realistically could be looking at the Bulls like they're just a point guard away, and I'll opt out and call them up.
They're a point guard and at least a small forward away, bro. A power forward. You need a point guard and one good player, or at least a superstar player, or you're not gonna, or nothing.
That's what we're saying. If we get a decent point guard, it could probably attract those guys we're talking about to opt out their contracts, and then the Bulls can talk to them.
Exactly. And you know what? Like I said, maybe landing Zach, maybe Zach being in the All-Star kind of helped out. Maybe.
All right. Also, real quick before we go, I know you said a break. If Paul George chokes again in the playoffs, Kawhi is probably like, you know what? I'm gone.
Again,
if playoff P don't show up, he's gone.
I mean, he's been having a good season so far. So, like you said, maybe making the playoffs, and if he does the playoff P choke playoffs, maybe just maybe he's like, all right, maybe PG ain't worth it. The JCA Sports Podcast here with John DePlayo, Jose Contreras, Eric Avila, JCA Sports Podcast here on Facebook Live. We will be right back.
Bloop, bloop.
We are back to the hardest hitting talk show around.
Deep drive, way back.
This is the JCA Sports Podcast.
Yes, it is. JCA Sports Podcast here on Facebook Live. Jonathan Pelayo, Eric Saul Avila, Jose Contreras here. Yes, we're back. We're back after a month off hiatus. But it's cool. We're back. We're better than ever. We're doing the best we can. Much, and we needed to make a podcast back to talk about sports because a lot has happened since last time we last spoke. It was one thing that happened when we last spoke. Baseball season started, y'all. Yes, baseball season has started, and you know what? Let's just be completely honest, right? I think we all come to agreements. I know we're here to disagree, but can we all agree that it's been a very slow start for both of our baseball teams? It's a slow start. It's a slow start for the Cubs because it's basically the same story. It just looks a little bit more. Like it's like the offense has been staggering. Like I think they had like the worst batting average in baseball. Like they're hit and miss sometimes. I think the perfect example was over the weekend. Like they scored like 25,000 runs on Saturday, and then they got 25,000 runs scored on them the day after. Then they ended up scoring another 25,000 runs last night, and it's just like, or the night before, and now today it's like another battle, 3-2 against the Mets, right? They're 8-9, but it feels like they're like an 8-9 team that's kind of like underachieving in some type of way. It's like the same.
Well, hold on. Look. You say all that, right? That they're last and this and that, but they're like you said, they're only 8-9.
Exactly.
They're only 8-9. Like you want to talk about underachieving? Let's talk about the team that's supposedly supposed to win a championship this year in Chicago. Let's talk about that team who's barely at 500.
The team that's 500.
And we go with that. They're like at 500, but there's question marks in the beginning with the bullpen. I think the first week and a half, I think they kind of blew 2 games because of the bullpen and the defense. They shot themselves in their own foot. But the question mark really is actually going for John, and this is what is it really the Eloy Jimenez effect of him being gone for the majority of the season to where like they're struggling at 9-9, or was
wait, hold on. Before I answer that, I need Jose to tell me why it's a no, and then I'll give my take. Because he was quick to respond before I did.
Go ahead, Johnny. He asked you first.
No. I really didn't finish the question.
I want you to tell me.
Man. You can't blame just Eloy being. It's not like Eloy was a defensive prowess in the backfield. That was his weakness. That was the reason why he got hurt in the first place. Are they missing his bat? Yes, but that's no excuse. You still have Tim Anderson, who was your whatever the hell he was last year. You still have your MVP and Jose Abreu. That shouldn't count for the bad pitching that you've been having. I don't know what to tell you, man. Look, the White Sox are a good team.
No, I'm just
hold on. The White Sox are a good team. We know they're a good team. All right, they're gonna get it together. They have to. They have too much talent on the team. They're gonna get it together. But it has been disappointing because they should have been running out the gates, especially with that talent. With overall how talented that team is, they should have ran out that gate, guns blazing. But I get it. I mean, it's an early season. I mean, it's early in the season. It's a longer season. I do believe they're gonna get it together because of the talent, because of the coach, the skipper, whatever you want to call them. They're gonna get it together. But right now, it's I like busting John's balls a little bit because they were supposed to be the best team in the MLB, right? And look at them, they're struggling.
Or at least in the AL, at least in the American League.
AL.
At least we're not the Yankees.
Yeah, that's bad.
So here, let me respond to both of you. First of all, no, I don't think it's an Eloy Jimenez effect at all. But I feel like, I mean, I've watched majority of all the games. I've been to 3 so far, including the worst pitcher on the planet's no-hitter. But I'm thankful no-hitter. Like, y'all got to put that on my gravestone, witness no-hitter. But anyways,
no, it's not a concert.
What it was, bro, is we've been hit with a lot of injuries at the same time, which hasn't. I mean, look, I've been watching the games, and we've been having to start Billy Hamilton. We've been having to start Mendick as shortstop, and it's just like, it's so frustrating because it's like, bro, like, this isn't on paper with our starters we're good, but because of injury, because TA got injured, and then of course Jimenez is a hole out there, but we have like guys that you can plug in like Vaughn. And Vaughn's been trash. He's supposed to be the DH. Mercedes is going crazy, but you can't put him in left. That's, oh God, don't put Mercedes in left. But it's just like with the injuries of TA, adding on to Jimenez's, and then even for a while, Billy Hamilton got injured. Don't get me wrong, he's a stealing base machine. All he got to do is lay down the bunt every time and he's safe. But other than that, though, he can't hit. You know, there's a reason he's like a number 5th outfielder. So we've just been having to start bad guys. I really think La Russa's trying to figure out who his bullpen guys are. Michael Kopech's been on a tear. There have been some questionable calls from La Russa as far as like who to bring in, but risky. I do think like it's just he needs to find his go-to relievers right now. But what doesn't help us is that I don't know if you guys seen Lance Lynn is on the DL or the IL, so that sucks. Though I think Michael Kopech did good in his last start. He actually started one of the doubleheaders. It's just like, bro, like when we hit, the pitching sucks. When we pitch, the hitting sucks. It's just like we're not there, and I just feel like right now it's just we gotta mesh. We gotta mesh. You know, stop being bummed about Jimenez being up. Pick yourselves up. Moncada, my boy, I love him to death. He needs to get his stuff together. I'm glad La Russa moved him from the cleanup spot, but it's just like, bro, like when watching the lineups, you're just like, bro, who made this lineup? Robin Ventura, but then it's like, oh, this guy injured. So we're stuck on our 4th and 5th options. It's terrible.
I hear the same stuff you were saying last year about Ricky.
No. Ricky was purposely making bad lineups. He was like, hey, watch this, guys. What's his name? Oh my God, Delmonico cleanup right now. Bro.
The JCA is
realistically though, we're one outfielder getting hurt from calling Nicky Delmonico back. That's how bad our injury has been. Terrible. So I know I still hate Carlos Rodon. I don't care. Notice nobody in our fantasy baseball league has gone to pick him up despite his great start. So I'm not the only one that hates him. Don't call me a hater.
Oh, I didn't pick him up because I don't pay attention to the Chicago White Sox. I'm sorry.
Me neither.
Oh,
and the JCA
throws a no-hitter. How do you not pick him up?
The JCA Sports.
How come you don't pick him up, John?
Because I hate him.
You were there. You witnessed it.
You witnessed it. Okay.
I'm gonna make a compilation for you, John, of all the stuff, all the bad stuff you said about Carlos Rodon, and then you
do it
in that video cheering.
Look at a break video.
This is the greatest day of my life. I can die happy.
Hold on.
Look,
I witnessed this, but I still hate the guy to death. This is worse than like when Philip Humber threw a perfect game for the Sox.
Who?
Terrible. Exactly.
And the JCA Sports Podcast would like to apologize for boring you guys with Sox talk. Anywho,
what?
No, I'm just kidding.
But,
I'm kidding. God,
He's
sensitive, very sensitive. We go to our Facebook comments page here. Naeem says, I think a lot of lineup issues having to do with losing Eloy and Anderson being gone forced us to play Jake Lamb, Nick Williams, etc. But our hitters
Lamb's
hitting.
another one. Oof.
Well, Moncada sucking, but ultimately bullpen has given up several leads in the games that should have been won. Exactly. That is what I'm saying. Bullpen issues to the max right there. He also goes on and saying, also, doesn't matter if you young guys throw 100 miles per hour, if they ain't hitting their spots, which is that the bullpen is doing. So obviously we get it. It's a young season, and it's easy to hit the overreaction button.
I know y'all seen that post I shared this morning. It's only
probably.
like 17 games. Don't overreact.
Right.
But still,
Right.
it honestly feels like more than
you still. These games do count. You know, later on when you're in the postseason, you lose those games that can go either way. You're kind of like, man, if only we would have won this game for this reason. Look, every game counts.
No. I think that's a bad example.
You're
talking about when you're trying to make the postseason.
If you guys are only concerned about the end of the season, let's just play the end of the season already. The beginning of the season is there for a reason.
Okay, let's pump the brakes.
There's going to be teams that are hot right now. Look, there are going to be teams that are hot right now that are not so hot during the playoffs, but they're still going to make it because of the
like the Mariners,
because
the
of their hot
Royals.
start.
The Dodge.
Right.
But
you're not going to say it's an early season. No, they still made the play. They still did what they had to do, and they can still probably reset and go for a run. So like I get that you shouldn't overreact, but you shouldn't take the beginning of the season so lightly either. It's there for a reason.
Oh, we're not
games
taking
don't-
it lightly.
those
No, we're not
games
taking
don't.
it lightly. No, I don't think
Well,
taking it lightly.
Sure, there are fans that are.
Right,
Right.
exactly. I think the difference between I think the both sides, the north side and the south side, is that with the north side, I think expectations weren't as big as it was down in the south side, because the south side had, with everybody healthy, it was a team destined to potentially
that is
make
such
the World
a
Series.
lie,
Dude,
bro.
the expectations on the north side are the expectations. The only expectations that we had on the north side, Eric, were us expecting them to blow up the team. Let's be real.
Exactly.
We were talking a lot of crap. We were talking a lot of crap at the beginning of the season, but I think we all knew this team is done. I think we all knew this team was on the tail end of their win championship.
What?
Of the
Where's this
championship
coming
window.
from, bro? I need y'all to
That's
pull
the
up
truth.
receipts, bro.
That's him.
Look,
That's him.
John, look,
I need y'all to pull up these receipts,
that's
man.
him.
Y'all were
That's him.
not.
chill.
Y'all were
That's
not
not
throwing
me.
the towel.
As
Wait,
a Cubs
hold
fan,
on.
look, as a
Hold
Cubs
on.
fan, right? As a Cubs fan,
Wait.
and as a
The
person who
audacity. Y'all might as well
as a
change this
person who
podcast
hates the
name,
Sox,
bro.
I would love to give you
Ooh, the
you know what I mean?
blasphemy.
I love
Anything
to
else?
give you now. I always knew the Cubs were going to win a championship, just like I know the Bears aren't going to win a championship next season. It's the same thing. I'm still going to root for them. I'm still going to talk crap about the White Sox, right? I'm still going to say the Cubs are better than the White Sox, despite knowing that we're on different wavelengths right now, right? I get that. I understand that. You're still going to hear me say blasphemous comments about my team on the North
At
Side.
me,
It's
bruh.
That's the fan in me, man. You know?
Johnny blasphemy right here.
And
Anyway,
Eric knows.
okay.
Eric knows what's up too. Eric knows that the Cubs aren't going to do nothing this year.
Eric's the worst, bro. He don't admit
I'm the
nothing
worst.
about the Cubs, bro.
I don't. No,
Cubs hoodie right
I
now.
actually-
Cubs hat.
actually, no. I mean, I'm in school. I can't wear hats in school, anyways. I'm working, so I gotta look somewhat ravishing. Somewhat decent, so the students could, come,
You always
look at me.
ravish.
Appreciate it. No, but you know what? I think the difference, yes, I think the expectations are a little bit different from both sides. Like, I think we had a lot more question marks throughout the season, in the beginning of the season, to where what were the Cubs going to do? Are they going to give up? Are they going to trade Chris Bryant? Are they going to give Javi this contract? Or what are they going to do with Rizzo? Yada. I think there was more questions about the team and not actually focusing on the team's expectation on whether or not to make the playoffs. Yes, that's basically
KB's
the
gone
goal,
for show.
Right, and he's actually been pretty decent, one of the decent players.
He's been
this year.
decent.
He's been one of the decent players too as well. And I think when was it, last week or 2 weeks ago? I kind of don't remember, about how Javi Baez turned down $180 million.
I think
contract and
that's
stuff.
this weekend we were talking about.
Was
Like
it? Okay,
9
cool.
years,
So-
180 mil.
right, and it's just like, at a contract, you actually look at it and you're like, I mean, it's not expensive, but his you
It's
can tell like
definitely a
that.
team-friendly contract.
Right, definitely like a little above team friendly, just a smidget above team friendly.
No,
Like
considering how the shortstop market's going, to make 20 mil a year, that's friendly.
a little above, just a tad bit.
No.
You're not Francisco Lindor, but it's a tad bit above. I think team
Bradley
friendly is like
Cousins.
150,
I heard
like
their
30
next door
million
neighbors
less.
in Puerto Rico.
Anywho,
Same Diaz.
anywho, but you know what? But it's going to prove, like, bro, like, if you want to prove the contract that you want, homie, like, stop swinging literally like 20 feet out the strike zone, knowing that ball is going to be a ball. Like, you can easily tell from the get-go, you know what I mean? The way, like, with Anthony Rizzo, how far apart they are with the contract, knowing that there's actually, like, there's more questions about the Cubs as a team than it was as an organization on where they're going to do this year going to the playoffs. So granted, yes, that's what I mean by the expectations were different between the North and the South side. The South side had everything covered. They had everything ready to go. But it all started losing Eloy in a spring training game. And it felt like, okay, that's the little trickle effect that started happening. The bullpen started giving up leads in the beginning, I think first 2 weeks, I believe it was, first week and a half, 2 weeks, where they had the lead and the bullpen started blowing. And then there was games where it's just like the offense was nowhere to be found. Like you said, great pitching, no offense. Great offense, no pitching, sometimes even no defense. So it's like, it comes to like, yes, is it too early to hit the panic button? Of course. But at the same time, like I said, the expectations were different from both sides of North and the South side. Both teams are at 500, or one's a game below 500. Both teams are two and a half games behind the first place division, right? The one team that we thought in the NL Central was going to be in first is actually in last, and the one team that we thought it was in last is actually in first. So like,
Yeah.
and like,
Bro, this happens every year. You always have surprise
exactly,
season.
And
exactly.
I
And
love that you brought that
every
point
year.
up, because I was going to bring up, back in 2016, We all knew the Cubs were getting better. Were a better team than they were the year before, and they were getting to where we thought they would get to. But the expectation still wasn't as high as they're going to win a championship this year. In 2015, they made the playoffs. But come on, let's be honest. I don't think any of us. Come on. You really thought? No, hold on. Eric, wait. Come on. Listen. You guys really thought in 2016, the beginning of these guys have a chance for the championship?
That's what y'all thought.
Bro, are you serious?
Oh my God, here we go.
Just right now.
Y'all, so you guys don't listen. Let me finish my comment before anything. Like seriously, let me finish my comment. What I'm trying to say. I know, right, baby? They're crazy.
Look,
what I'm
he
trying to
calling
say.
you out. Your own son's calling you out, bruh.
Chill. What I'm trying to say is that we knew the Cubs were a better team in 2016 than they were in 2015. We knew they took the next step, right? But you don't really go in a season and be like, okay, this is the team who's going to win a championship this season. Yes or no?
My guy, in 2016, the Cubs were the favorites to win the World Series.
Before Aroldis Chapman trade.
Before the Aroldis Chapman trade, the
Like,
Cubs were the favorites to win the World Series.
The expectations
Cubs
weren't there, though, like they were for the Sox.
It was
like
for
the Sox
you.
this season.
For you guys, you were. For you guys, it was like, all right, we'll win that next year.
No
We'll
way,
win.
no way.
Dude,
You're lying, bro.
hold on. Wait, can I say something? If I'm not,
Let me finish my point before you go off. Okay, my point is this.
Jose, you're lying, bro.
It's better going into a season without the
Can we go-
expectation of winning the championship than it is with the expectation, because the pressure
I'm
is
sorry.
there.
I'm sorry, but I
Because
think in 2015, if I'm not mistaken, I think the Cubs won 97 games, along with the Pirates and the Cardinals that won 100. They took out both the Pirates and the Cardinals, which I think everybody didn't expect. Nobody expected 2015 from the Cubs.
Eric,
I will
get
give
that.
you.
Wait, you know what's crazy?
I
You know what's
get
crazy?
that.
Wait, let me just say a little fun fact. The Cubs beat Garrett Cole that year in the
They did.
playoffs,
In
and
the
now he's
playoff
one of the
game, in
best
the
pitchers in baseball.
That's
Arguably.
crazy.
Exactly.
Real
Okay.
quick, my whole point is, my whole point is, it's better to not have any expectation.
You
going
expect
into
them
the
to
season.
win.
No.
You
Okay.
expect
That's
them
my
to win the World Series.
We're
That
we're
is
gonna
my
go.
point. It's better not to go into see the White Sox come in with all the expectations in the world, and now they're struggling and everybody's overreacting.
Okay, no, but
Because
hey,
you have teams who you weren't expecting to be
Bro.
good, and now they're playing good, and it's better to have that. It's better to start off with that expectation. But just like the White Sox, the Cubs had a player,
Jordy.
an important player who went out early in that season in 2016.
Listen, Linda, listen.
Yes
Right.
or no? Right?
Linda,
But the difference was, from beginning to end, they were the best team overall. They were in
Bro.
first
How
place
can
the
we
entire
how
season.
can you mute his mic? Can we mute his
Bro.
mic real quick?
Nope.
How do you do that?
be honest with you, Jose, who outside of Chicago actually gives the Sox expectations to win the World Series?
Everybody
I
those
think the
those
National.
White Sox
I think.
You
this
guys
year
check the Vegas Sportsbook. We're like number 5, 6, 7 after
Exactly.
Eloy lost.
That's because of La
Right,
Russa.
I think
That's
well,
because
first of all,
you get in La Russa.
Wait,
No. Aside from the defending champs, the Dodgers, you got the hype of the Padres. You got the Yankees, always favored to win somehow, some way.
The Cardinals.
The
were up there, I
Cardinals?
believe.
The Cardinals after the Nolan Arenado trade.
Right. So I think before the Eloy trade.
They're always up there above the
Right.
Sox. So you
Right.
can't say people have the Sox are barely top 5. They were probably number 5 if I remember. Like the highest
5 or
ever seen
6,
was
right.
5.
Right.
That was even like FanDuel, DraftKings. They were like
Right.
ranked 5 favorite.
All right, so I have the odds. I have the World Series odds in 2016. The opening odds. The Washington Nationals were the favorites, followed by the Los Angeles Dodgers, followed by the Toronto Blue Jays, followed by the Cleveland Indians, and then the Chicago Cubs. Okay, so don't tell me they were the favorites. I knew they weren't the favorites.
Hold on.
And I'm putting up stats. Okay, so don't pull that BS with me. I told you it's better to have it's better not to have expectation going into the season than to go. You want to talk about receipts? Look it up. The opening odds were not the Washington Nationals were the favorites that season.
You
The Washington and that's in the NL. Then it's the Dodgers. Then it's the Cubs. So don't give me that BS.
You and your
Don't
fans
give me
are
that
screaming
BS.
we're gonna win next year.
Do not give me that BS.
Wait,
As a
if
Cubs
that's
fan,
the case,
as
hold on.
a fan of the team, you always think they're going to win a championship. My point was simply this. My
No,
point was
you
simply
didn't know
this.
about the Bears? You didn't know
My
about the
point
Bulls?
was simply this. It's better to have less expectation than all the expectation in the world.
Don't give me that,
That's
bro.
all I'm
You want the
saying.
team to win every
The
year.
Cubs, although we thought they were favorites, they weren't really the favorites. That's all I'm trying
You
to say.
yourself thought they were favorites, bro. Don't tell me you didn't.
I did.
Of course, I'm going to root for my team. Especially after
Anywho, let's
I
go.
never said that. I didn't think they were the favorites. I said it's better to have
You're a
an
liar.
expectation.
When they
I
lost in
said it's better
2016,
to have
I'm not that
expectation,
you
not to have the expectation as a favorites, than to have expectation as the favorites. Is what I'm saying.
You had expectations of the Cubs to win the World Series in
They
2016.
were
Yes,
the
you did.
favorites by everybody. Clearly, they weren't.
Hold on, wait. Can I just point out?
Wait, before
Jose?
you point out, wait. Before you point out, let me just go on Facebook real quick because I'm just
Man.
yeah. Anywho, it's an early season like you guys said. This is from Cards. It's an early season just like you guys said. As much as it hurts, I think the Sox will do much better later in the season than the Cubbies. Well, his Cubbies only because inconsistency in the hitting and pitching and the contract renewal issues that the Cubs have. But who knows? Anything is possible. You know, he said he rewatched Moneyball today. My boy Tony, what up, Tony? Hope you're
That
doing
movie
well,
was
man.
fantastic. Top 5
Yes,
movie of all time.
He's a diehard Cubs fan, right? But as a baseball fan, the White Sox are going to be good this season. Naeem goes in and says definitely a disappointing start to our top players not showing up on offense. But like you guys said, long season. It's a marathon, not a sprint, right? Excuse me. Where you go? My boy Tony goes on to say, I think this is going. He's like, hey, not to say I told you so, but I told you guys that the Bears wouldn't sign a black quarterback. We'll get to the Bears a little later on. Jesus says, great podcast, guys. He's gonna so Jesus, thank you for listening. Typical Sox fan.
Shout out to my pops, my daddy.
You know, man, what up, Daddy? Typical
You're
Sox
gay.
fan that goes to John about the whole argument. Now, you know, I'm doing great, man. Thanks. You know, just hearing some blasphemy over here, but whatever. I'm doing
Jose
good, man.
acting
Hopefully
like he
doing well,
really
too.
didn't think the Cubs are gonna win the World Series in 2016.
That
Bro,
just
that's your
blew-
boy. That's your compadre right there. That's
that
your
blew
boy.
that legit blew my mind simply because, like, literally the year before, I think nobody expected 2015. I would agree on that aspect. Everybody had a whole big hoopla about it because Chris Bryant was down for 17 games so they can have 1 more year of service time. The moment he came up, he tore it up. The team was on a different different atmosphere at that time when he was coming in. He won Rookie of the Year minus 17 games. And they ended up being the best team or the second best team in the division, the Pirates in the playoff game. They ended up being the best team in baseball that year was the Cardinals with the best record. And obviously they got dismantled by the best pitching staff rotation that the Mets threw at them with DeGrom, Matt Harvey at that time. Who else am I missing? Syndergaard and somebody else. I know I'm missing somebody else in the top 4 pitching rotation. And they got swept, right? I think the following year, the expectations were high on the Cubs because 1, they were young. 2, they were exciting. 3, everybody was under contract. 4 was they saw the potential what they had last year winning
Pick me. Oof.
97 games they won last year as a first year team
Ooh,
that
ooh.
didn't make the
Pick me,
playoffs
pick
in
me.
10
Oof.
years. And yes, they were whether or not they were the favorites by DraftKings or whoever it was.
Ooh, come on, Eric.
Baseball, that the Cubs were the best team in the National League that year. So please don't tell
Come
me
on.
that the Cubs weren't the best. Go ahead,
Eric,
John.
tag me in,
Go.
Fox. Tag me in. Come on.
Tag.
Oof.
Yeah, tag.
I'm sorry. I didn't hear anything you said. Say it again.
Shut up. Jose brought up his receipts saying, the Cubs were ranked number 5. Earlier today, Jose stated the Sox were favorited to win the World Series. I pulled up
No, they
the
As
odds.
I said that, I was kind of like, that's gonna come back to me right there.
Shut
I
up.
pulled it up.
Shut up.
The Sox also were ranked number 5 this year in odds. So going off of Jose's last statement of the Cubs not being favored in 2016 because they were number 5, that applies to the Sox not being favored this year.
Okay, I agree with that one, John. I agree with that one. And
Ooh.
another comparison is you guys lost Eloy at the beginning of the season. We lost Kyle Schwarber at the beginning of that season. So who knows? We can
Bro,
turn it
those
around.
Kyle Schwarber memes are so
no,
foul. You guys remember those?
Who knows?
No.
No,
Right?
hold on. You guys remember the Kyle Schwarber memes with Simba holding on to him like, get up, Dad?
Yes.
Foul.
Yes, but
No,
no.
but the
But see,
difference is the Cubs
no,
were the best
hold
team
on.
throughout the whole season. The Sox are right now are
Bro, but
struggling.
Jose, I'm just saying, dude, you can't say you had no expectation of them to win at the beginning of 2016.
Not in 2016.
You
Homer.
can't
Not
say
in
that.
2016.
I'm not
You
saying
can't
there was-
say that.
I'm not
You
saying that
can't say
there was
that,
no
bro.
expectations. I'm saying that they weren't the favorites. That's all I was saying.
The Gi-
And my
the
whole
Gi-
point of even bringing that up was to say, wasn't even to argue about that. My whole point was to argue about My whole point was to argue that it's better to not have the expectation than to have the expectation.
No,
No.
The Cubs had that expectation, my guy. The Cubs had that. Though they had those expectations, homie. I don't care whatever it is. They had those expectations. They were the favorites coming out of the NL Central. Nah, homie. I'm you. No. What you just said, literally, just everything that you said was just flushing down the toilet water throughout the whole entire time, because literally the Cubs from 2015, everybody was making the comparison, homie. Everybody was making the comparison from the 2015, 2016 Cubs to the team. Hey, Lou, so like a special guest. And Adam, great.
Hey, say hi.
Right here, let me. This is bring your kids to work today. I guess it was. So, well, we're gonna take a quick commercial break here. The John Konami Sports Podcast on Facebook Live. Jonathan Pelayo, Jose Contreras, Eric Avila here on Facebook Live. We'd like to thank you guys for watching. Carbs, Tony, Naeem, Jesus, Jonathan. Thank you guys for watching, tuning in. When we come back, quick twist. We're going to talk about the NFL draft coming up. That's next week. What should the Bears do? Are you guys expecting them to move up? Are you expecting them to move down? It's Ryan Pace. So what do y'all expect, right? And also, there was something that bothered me for the past couple of days. For 48 hours, it bothered me. What was that? Tune in a little later on to find out. This is the John Konami Sports Podcast here on Facebook Live.
We are back to the hardest hitting talk show around.
Deep drive, way back. Ball game over.
This is the JCA Sports Podcast.
Yes, it is. The JCA Sports Podcast here on Facebook Live. Jonathan Pelayo, Jose Contreras, Eric Avila here, coming to you guys. We'd like to thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for listening. Tony, Carbs, and Naeem, Jesus, Jonathan, thank you guys for commenting, saying hello. We're doing great. We're doing fine. Yes, it's been a while, and we're back. We're making this appearance. So, and it's been a while, so we decided, hey, show our faces, see what we can do, guys. As we have a special guest in Luz. Hi, Luz. Guys, we're talking about the Chicago Bears. The draft is literally a week from tomorrow? Today? Is it? I think so. It's next week. That's all I know. The Bears have made some type of moves. You know, they signed Marquise Goodwin this past week. Last week they re-signed to Sean Gibson, the safety for the Bears. So they signed it. They ended up re-signing him back. But the real question is, knowing that the draft is literally a week away, there's a lot of talk. There's there's a lot of talk about the Bears on what should they do. There's a lot of talk that they should move up in the draft, move up 10, 12 spots to try to see if they can get a quarterback that falls in for them. There's some even saying even fall back if just get more draft picks if they can. Guys, if we look at Ryan Pace's track record, and that's what I'm looking at right now on the Google machine, in every draft for his first pick, he has moved up in the draft. Now, I mean, it could be from position 1 to 4 to 2, 4, and 3. This year, if we're going by what they have right now, right? By what I'm seeing right now, this year, they're talking about them moving up 10 spots. Is it for the Chicago Bears, guys? Is it smart to move up 10 spots to pick whatever great players available for the Chicago Bears, knowing you're going to lose draft capital at the back end and maybe even again next year? If he is going to be here next year.
John, before you say anything, I think we can both agree that the Bears are not the favorites this season.
Bro, they're not going to win 500 with Andy Dalton as quarterback.
Oof.
Go ahead, John. Go ahead and answer that question. What do you think they should do? Is it smart for them to move up 10 spots?
To answer Jose's question or Eric's question, yes. But what they're gonna do, Russell Wilson trade 4 draft picks on draft night for Russell Wilson.
I was waiting for it.
Hell
Eric, I'm with that face you made when he said yes. Okay, because we don't want Ryan Pace moving up no kind of spots with his track record at all.
Bro, give him the first 4 of this year and the first 4 rounders. 4 second rounders off of Russell Wilson, plus Nick Foles for the free,
and Andy Dalton,
and we'll give Little Future a contract.
He said we'll give Little Future a contract. You're an idiot.
He always makes that one unnecessary move. You don't have to make. You could have done it without it, but he always has to make that one thing. So it's only right he gives out all his quarterbacks away. We don't need a backup.
I'm not giving up hope on Russell Wilson until the draft's over. That's me. Because Deshaun, he ain't getting moved at all.
I mean, guys, is anybody? I mean, look. To me, the Russell Wilson trade, right? Trading for Russell Wilson, as much as and I make that facial expression because it's like, I get it. It's an elite quarterback, future Hall of Fame quarterback, Super Bowl MVP or Super Bowl winning quarterback. Elite quarterback on top of that. Yes, you trade up the farm to get him. But the question is, guys, like, if you give up those 4 draft picks, like, you basically give up the whole entire farm to say like, all right, what are we gonna build around you? Like, what are we gonna do? Like, what are we gonna? You know what I mean? Like, it's like, cool, yeah, we have the quarterback, but how are we gonna help you? You know what I mean? It's just like, we're gonna give up so much draft capital, and we use the first round draft picks, especially the first two round draft picks, are essential to the teams because it's like, all right, guys, like, this is where the team is built, and then the back end of the draft, even though up to the 3rd round, you know, you could still bring them in and help you win right now, right? But the back end is like for the back end, but it's like you're already down a spot. Granted, I know it's Russell Wilson. I get it. But it's just like, at the same time, it's like,
bring back Mitch.
It's too much. That ship is already over. No, like, it's too much. Hit
a big Cuddy out of retirement. He's bored on Instagram. I'm seeing him.
You know what? Like, don't get me wrong. To me, I think if the Bears, I can't even say that either because the Bears don't even play it smart whatsoever. You know what I mean? It's like,
they let go of Kyle Fuller, let him walk, bro. I don't even want the Bears to win.
Exactly. So it's just like they don't do the smart. Granted, they got what's his name? The dude that came from the Lions. Why am I spacing on his name?
Trufant, no?
Yeah, Trufant. Like, yeah, they signed him on a 1-year deal just to replace, I guess, Kyle Fuller for that 1 year up until they got something right. Right, but it's like, I sit here and I look at it and it's like, man, there's way more question marks than we all knew that.
Kyle Fuller to get Andy Dalton, bro. That's how I view that.
Look on the bright side, Dick Stockton retired. You don't have to hear him call games anymore.
Anywho.
That's not how I gotta hear fuck no more on
Good
Sunday.
thing is that we have going for us as a Bears fan.
The one thing about the Chicago Bears is like it's like you want like John said, you're just hoping that on the day of the draft, the Bears here's four firsts and 4 fours or 3 fours or
Four first and 4 fours.
You can
Nick
roll your
Foles,
eyes all you
Andy
want when he
Dalton.
said that, but
We
that's
get
probably the only thing that can save the Bears right now.
You're as a cheerleader and Lil Future as backup quarterback.
And that's probably the only thing that can save this team and this franchise this season, honestly.
But you know what? But doing that, so you know what that does, right? The only way, right? That's my thing. That you ain't doing nothing for the next couple of seasons. But even if so, doing that, right? Doing what you just said, doing what I rolled my eyes, doing that. You know what that means? That's probably like another 2 years with Ryan Pace. That's another 2 or 3 years with Matt Nagy. And this is the two people that you guys always had some type of critique going towards, because it's just like you're doing that just to keep your job and maybe even F it up from moving on forward. You know what I mean? It's just like it's like you're doing it just to save your own behind. And at the end of the day, it's to the point where it's just like yes, you're trying to help the franchise now, but you're setting them up for failure for the future.
Yeah, because you're gonna leave. You're gonna be gone. Unless
Exactly.
the only way the jobs are saved is if NFC Championship game.
Mm-hmm. If
I
that,
don't think a playoff appearance saves them.
no, you know what? I think a playoff appearance and a playoff win will probably save them, because they're like, look, we're doing this, we're doing that. We got into the playoffs, going after 8-8 for 2 back-to-back years. 1 year making the playoffs. We made the playoffs. We finally won a playoff game since we haven't won since 2010. But yes, we lost to a better team because we still need help on this. We're gonna find excuses, and now we have to find a great potential in the second round, a second round pick, and then we won't have another pick till like the 5th round. You know what I mean? So it's just like, how do you help now, and how do you help for the future, knowing that you're gonna give up a lot for? Granted, yes, it's an elite quarterback, a future Hall of Famer, a Super Bowl winning quarterback, yada yada yada. I get all that. It's Russell Wilson, but it's like it's like.
Get Russell Wilson next year.
And that's the thing. It's Russell Wilson next year, and maybe his price tag goes down a little lower. Who knows? But yet you may not give up the farm right now, or you're gonna give up land for him
Aaron Rodgers next year, because all his guaranteed money's
for
up.
the free. Yeah, for the free. Even if that or for a 4th round draft pick or something. You know what I mean? Something like that. But by then, hopefully, Pace and Nagy will be gone. Before you guys even say anything else, let's go on the Facebook comments, the JCA Sports Podcast here on Facebook Live. Jonathan Pelayo, Jose Contreras, Eric Saul Avila. Guys, my boy Jonathan says right here, I'm with you, John, but Pete Carroll already stopped it once. Russ is staying in Seattle. The Bears should sit down or not trade up for a quarterback, O-line, or wide receiver. Our boy Carbs go ahead and says, I don't see him leaving Seattle this season. Front office made their cheap choice at quarterback and wide receiver with Dalton and Goodwin. Maybe next year, he goes on and saying, maybe next year, guys, with a new front office, pray to God, new ownership, we get the team the fans really want. Naeem goes on and say the Bears can't trade up because no one wants the 20th pick. Pace and Nagy future is up. So how can they mortgage the future if they won't be a part of it? Which is true. But like at the same time, it's just like that's what I'm saying. Like if you trade for Russell Wilson, they're saving their job for another 2, maybe 3 years, maybe that. But now you're making your 1st round draft pick in the 2nd round. You're making your first pick maybe in the late 2nd round because you won't have a 1st round pick. And then what do you have to do? Trade up again to get another, to move up forward to get. So it's like a ripple effect. It's like it's going in circles, and all you're doing is hurting the future for the present. And next thing you know, you're probably by year number 3, you're probably 2-15. And now you're at it.
2-15. Chill out.
I'm saying like in 2 or 3 years.
I kill myself.
Because look, not only that, you're giving up a big contract to hopefully Khalil Mack. Hopefully he'll probably be gone off the book. You still got to pay up Russell Wilson that big money. Who else are you going to bring to help out? You can't make a.
Russell Wilson signed for like 4 years. He got 4 more years left on his deal.
But how many for how much money?
Oh, we
exactly.
got to move somebody.
Exactly. We got to move. So You're paying one
36.
player. You're paying one player. You're playing one player to drop off two players that are key potential on one side of the ball. You make one side of the ball deep. Well, he's in Seattle all over again. Now you're
But
gonna
the
give
thing is,
everybody.
though, is we can't trust the Bears to draft a hidden gem like Russell Wilson in the draft. You
I
can't.
honestly,
If I'm not mistaken,
no,
Russell was like in the second or third round. He wasn't even the first rounder.
yeah, he was in the third round. We know
Exactly.
that. But
The same with
it's
Dak.
possible.
Dak Prescott. They weren't
He was
first
a
round
fourth
picks.
rounder. Right.
We
He was a fourth
can't
rounder.
expect the Bears to do that.
Right. I mean, we do the Tom Brady. He went in the sixth round.
Here's the thing. Getting Russell Wilson's a long shot. Do we
Big
want
time.
Russell Wilson? Do we want him? Yes. Do we think that scenario is going to happen, John? No. I don't think handicap the future of the franchise is going to happen. That's basically what you're doing. And with that being said, being that we have Andy Dalton, and looks like that's going to be our quarterback for this season, what do you think is going to happen this season? Do they even have a chance to win at least 7 games, 8 games?
Hell no.
No.
We're gonna lose to Las Vegas with this extra game.
So I think we're all in agreement that an offensive line is what they're going to do with the first round pick.
Hey,
no?
but who trying to go to Vegas for that game though?
I'm trying to go to Vegas for other reasons, homie.
Big odds for
Yes or no? Offensive line is what you think they're going to do next week in the draft? That's what I think.
I mean, maybe even a wide receiver. You know, maybe they might trade away Anthony Miller. Maybe they might trade away Anthony Miller
I
in the
would have
second
wide
day.
receiver because who do you have that late in the draft that'll be talented enough that you would want to take? You need to bolster your offensive line, or you're not going to have
throw into a wide receiver. We got nobody to throw into a wide
right.
receiver.
You need an offensive line to even be able to throw the ball, basically. So
Bro,
I think
honestly, next year's gonna be back and forth between Foles and Andy Dalton. Who plays better? Bench this guy, start him next week. Bench him again, start him next week. It's gonna be terrible next year.
playoffs last season.
I have a little bit more optimistic. I'm a little bit more optimistic. I am.
Me too. I do too. I am too. To be honest, I am.
The fact of the matter is, though, like to me, it's just like it comes to the point. And it's like, okay, are we gonna have one more year of these knuckleheads running our team and still get it wrong? You know what I mean? And it's just like, who's up there? Like they're talking about moving up 10 to 12 spots to at least try to attempt to get the top 4 or 5 rated quarterbacks in this draft. When reality is just like, you guys have so many holes outside. Yes, the quarterback is an important position, but you still have holes in the offensive line. You still have holes in the wide receiving aspect. You still have holes on the defense side of it. Like, you know, like, why don't you just be smart? And instead of being aggressive and impulsive, why don't you just, all right, there's nothing good. Let's trade back and get the best value that we got there. Let's move back 3, 4, 5 picks and get more picks in there so we can help our team out now. You know what I mean? Or find something like that. But no, like I feel like them being impulsive, or at least Ryan Pace being impulsive, I think the fact of the matter is, it's like it hinders the Chicago Bears overall. Do we love him? Do we love him that he made the Khalil Mack trade? Yes. I think that changed that franchise for that 1 year. Do we hate him for picking Trubisky over Deshaun Watson? Hell yes, because at least the quarterback was already there for a couple years. You know what I mean? Do we?
That right now, I think that was a bad example, man. Right now, that's not looking too good.
Look. I'm talking about the 4 years outside of the whole scandal right now and everything like that.
I'm just saying, I'm just saying.
Okay, Patrick Mahomes.
Mitch is a very respectable man. All right, he respects women.
He pays his taxes, Eric. You know
He
this.
pays his taxes. Yes. I get that, but at the same time, it's just like this man has done more damage than he has helped. So it's just like we're on this again to where it's just like, okay, guys, I guess we got to give this man another shot. You know what I mean? It's just like we just got to deal with it. You know, the JCA Sport.
I agree with you, but I like the fact that he got Andy Dalton as a quarterback for 1 year. I say do not get a quarterback this year because then you're handicapping the next GM when you get fired with that decision, which may or may not be good. I think it's good that you got Andy Dalton for that 1 year. So that way, after this year, you wash your hands. He's gone. The GM is gone. You got a new GM. Start fresh. Do what you got to do. You get an offensive line.
Jose, Jose, I hear you, but based off of that, do we really want to enter a rebuild next year?
John, compared to what we're doing, yes, John, because I'm not going to do another 2 or 3 years of mediocrity, not making the playoffs, getting bounced the first round, not making the playoffs. F that. Start a rebuild with a brand new GM who knows what the F they're doing, with a brand new head coach who knows what the F they're doing, get good players, rebuild, and then hopefully we get a quarterback in the future that's going to actually throw for 4,000 yards, that's actually going to be an MVP, that's actually going to take us to the Super Bowl, that knows what the F they're doing. I'd rather them at this point rebuild and hope we get it right. Because the way we're going now is mediocrity and lower than mediocrity, and they have done nothing the past 80-something years to show us that they're heading down the right direction.
Are we talking about the Bears or talking about me?
I honestly, I want to agree with you on that aspect too, Jose. But at the same
I
time,
don't want to rebuild, honestly.
I honestly
Rebuild.
Like I want to say that I want to agree with you, but I think there is a quarterback that could probably help you within there. That's in the later rounds, and to me, I mean, I think that Kellen Mond would be a good quarterback.
Who?
I think Kellen Mond might be a good quarterback. I think
Eric, what's he gonna do with the team around him, Eric? Look, you get Russell Wilson. Look, you get Russell Wilson. He'll make the team better because he's that good of a player, right? But at the end of the day, is he going to take this team the way they're constructed right now to a Super Bowl? No, he can't even take the Seahawks who are constructed better.
Guys,
the Seahawks are constructed better than the Chicago Bears with a better head coach, with a better GM. And look, and he's complaining. You think he's going to Chicago?
Hear me out.
Come on, man.
What if we take a quarterback in the second or third round? Would y'all be okay with that?
That's Kellen Mond. Kellen Mond is in there. Kellen Mond, somebody else
we
from.
Can still go for another quarterback.
If you do that. That's fine. Just don't waste the first round pick on a quarterback. Don't waste more picks in the future on a quarterback. If you're Ryan Pace, leave this draft alone. Make the safe pick. Get an offensive line. Get fired, and the next season let the new GM make a whole. Have a clean slate at least.
So we can all agree. Don't take a quarterback in the first round.
Yes.
No, I agree. Yeah, don't do it.
Cool.
Right now, if I go on the four letter website,
I don't want another Mitch, John.
Right. Right now, if I go on the 4-letter website and doing that whole draft pick, the .65, it's saying that Caleb Fairley, cornerback from Virginia Tech, looks like is going to be the pick at number 20 if there's no type of movement whatsoever. That the Bears, yes, they do need a offensive tackle. They do need quarterback help. They do need this. They do need that. Cornerback is another position too as well. So, like they say, the best available is always the best pick because it will help your franchise here and there.
I don't know what's worse, the fact that you're a Sox fan or the fact that you're wearing their jerseys.
I think
I'm
both.
wearing this every Bears game next year, boy, to show y'all Mitch will win more games than Andy Dalton.
Come on,
on
John.
the bench.
On the bench. Yes.
No, I'm saying
team's record.
Team who made it to the AFC Championship, bro.
Going after Andy Dalton. That's why.
Look. If your argument was that Mitch, the actual quarterback, is going to win more games playing, then okay, then we have something.
That's what I'm saying.
He's going to be on the bench.
Mitch on the Bears.
He's going to be on the bench of a team who made it to the AFC Championship last year. Of course he's going to win.
I'm not arguing for him on the bench. I'm arguing for him would win more games if we would have re-signed him.
The JTA Sports Podcast here on Facebook Live. Jonathan Pelayo, Jose Contreras, Eric Avila. We're going to go on commercial break.
Commercial break?
Guys,
just kidding.
Yeah, I know, right? Commercial break. Real quick, before after the break, we're going to come back. I'm going to talk about something that literally had me frustrated from the love of my life. What that is, just tune in when we come back here on the JCA Sports Podcast on Facebook Live. I'd rather for him to be a cook. Mike?
We're back.
What it do, baby?
What it do? I'm still muted. Okay, there it goes. Hey, the JCA Sports Podcast. Sorry
Hey.
about that. Technical difficulties. JCA Sports Podcast here on Facebook Live. Jonathan Pelayo, Jose Contreras, Eric Avila here with you guys. All
Eva
right,
Maya.
guys. So, oh, hey, Eva. Hey, girl. So, guys, the beginning of the week was rough for me. All right, it was very rough, super rough for me. Okay, and for facts of guys, I've been playing this sport since the age of 5. So this has literally been the love of my life since I was young, like the longest relationship I've ever been in, right? And Sunday night, I was very, very upset at the fact that 12 teams decided to be like, you know what? Forget this. Let's get all the money in the world. Let's do this. Let's do that. Let's put our own league of all the big teams. And you know what? Let's just get all the money in the world. Let's just do it. The fact that 12 teams, and out of those 12 teams, it's my beloved Arsenal. Out of those 12 teams, they're like, all right, cool, whatever, let's do it. Might as well. You know what I mean? And also another thing, too, our boy Jose Contreras over here, he's now a new soccer fan, too, as well. He goes for Liverpool. He loves it. He'll never walk alone. So let's
Never
go
walk
all
alone,
that,
baby.
Yeah, you
That's
know,
right.
give him that.
Also, Arriba la America was good.
Yeah, all right. At least you said something smart. John over here, I think he just goes wherever Ronaldo goes, so I don't think he's loyal to any team. But at least he watches the sport, so, you know, whatever. Next year, he's probably going to be an Inter Milan FC, whatever they're called down in Miami, or LA Galaxy fan, or, you know, or he already is because of Chicharito, but whatever.
Because of
But
Chicharito.
whatever. Anywho, the fact of the matter is, guys, and this is very disappointing, and this is disappointing me because, yes, I know, FIFA's corrupt, UEFA is corrupt, it's a corrupt system, right? And I tend to look beyond that because the sport provides art, it provides beauty, it provides something of satisfaction towards me because, like I said, I've been playing this game since I was 5. This game has been in me since I was 5, and like growing up and watching these sports, like it's just one of those instances where it's just like the rich just want to get richer. They don't care about anybody else but themselves. And I'm looking at myself, and I'm looking at this, and I know we were talking briefly when we were hanging out the other day, and it's just like it just made me so upset and so angry because I never thought that this would happen. Now, granted, it's almost basically the same thing because if you're talking about the Champions League and the new format that they're trying to predict for 2024 is beyond stupid and ridiculous, and they want to do it. But that's a whole nother conversation for a whole nother day. I'm just glad that the 6 teams from England pulled out literally like 48 hours later. I think the 3 Italian clubs and the 2 Spanish clubs are still the ones that are up for grabs on what they want to do.
No, it's only Barca and Real left. After today, only Barca and Real are left.
So basically it's the Super Classico league, you know. So it upset me to the point because this game was built around people like us. People that work 9 to 5s, people that come home, struggle, but it's a relaxation. This game has been around for 100 plus some odd years, 120 plus some odd years, right? We have clubs that have been around since 1880s, bro. And it's just it brings the historical fact that this game has been around people. That's why it's played globally because everybody could play it. Now now that ownership, and it's funny too because it goes, and this is like a little side note from it, but out of the 6 teams, Liverpool, Arsenal, Manchester United, Tottenham are all American-owned owners. We have the one Russian for Chelsea, and then I think he's from Saudi Arabia from Manchester City. That's beside the point. But like, the fact that they did this, it bothers me so much because they're trying to take the game away from the most important people, and that's ourselves. You know what I mean? Like we grow up watching this. I wake up early in the morning. To watch Arsenal when they play. Sometimes at 8:30 in the morning. I wake up even earlier than that when they play at 6. You know, and I still watch. You know, Club America is dear near my heart because of the family that we all watch and everything like that. But I'm also a fan of soccer players from other leagues. And the sport does that, and it upset me because you're taking the competition away You're taking the dramatic finish of most teams. Teams like teams like Brighton, teams like Cagliari, teams like Betis, or like the smaller
The
teams.
underdogs,
They
man.
they value Barcelona coming. They value Real Madrid coming. They value the six, the Uniteds, the Cities, the Chelsea's coming. They
Not to
value
imagine all the money they make when that team comes to town.
exactly like they value that because at the end of the day, it's just like it's money for them. Plus, you
Bro,
also
and
have
then even when you pull off an upset against a team like that, bro, it's like
they
it's
celebrate it.
everything, bro. It's
They
everything. You
cel-
making a kid that night, bro. That's
right,
what the level was at.
exactly,
Baby,
like
baby.
exactly, and
No one knows better than that than me.
Hey, chill. We're gonna make one tonight. The Jenner reel this weekend.
it bothered me to the core because
Woo!
it was very upsetting, and it made me mad at the sport that I love since I was 5 because you have greedy
Hey, bro. Hey,
owners.
real quick. I've loved you since you were 4, though.
Thank you, I appreciate it, homie. Thank you very much. Even though you weren't born when I was 4, but whatever, that's neither here nor there. Oh
Yes,
yeah,
I
you're not that
was,
old.
jerk.
No, you're right. You're only like
How
20.
old
My
are
bad.
you? Damn.
I'm 30, homie. Anywho, and it's just
30.
it right, but it bothered me to my core, guys, because it just felt like everything's being monopolized. Like it's not even
It
about
was
the sport.
selfish. It was like
Very,
it was disrespectful. It was
it was
selfish. Like, bro, it defeats the whole point of Champions League, man. You
exactly
want to have your own. You're pretty much saying you're too good for Champions League. We got to have our own league.
right. And
It's
the fact
sad,
of the
bro.
matter was, like UEFA came strong at them. But the thing is, like UEFA's not really that sweet of a child either, especially with this format. Talking about like adding 4 more other teams, but now it's a 10 league. Now you play
No,
10 games. And
but
it's like they don't care about the players too, and that's like a whole conversation for a whole
no, but
nother
it
day,
did get
right?
serious because I seen there were even threats that
Yeah,
players
no, they
couldn't participate in the
could
World
play
Cup.
right, exactly. They couldn't play in
That's
Champions League.
I
Right,
think
they're
that's what
talking
scared
about
everybody.
right. They couldn't play in the World Cup. They I know that the 4 teams remaining. I think it was City, Chelsea, and Madrid. City, Chelsea, and Madrid. They were about to be banned from the from the Champions League this year. Like
Yeah,
and they only left. Oh my God, who? Why am I blanking on the teams?
because
Who
it's
who
so
else is
emotional.
left?
It's okay.
Right, I know. I'm blinking on the other 4th team that it's supposed to be big, but I can't even remember. Like, but I think it was no, not Porto. I don't care, whatever it is. But like they're starting to kick them out of the Champions League. You know what I mean? And it's just like once it hit it just manages you guys. Like once they hit the pocket, yes, there's a whole bigger situation across the pond with everything else on Europe with the racial standpoint, and it goes to show that once they hit the money, once they hit their pockets, they forget about everything else. And I posted up on my personal Facebook page about that. And you go ahead, Eric Saul Avila, see what I'm talking about, to what post I was talking about. It's true. FIFA has a bigger scandal, bigger situation across the pond with racism, just like here in the United States. But like, you're not gonna here. We don't go to the streets like they do in the soccer games and make monkey chants. You know what I mean? And like players get of the darker color of the black color, like they get upset. Obviously, they're gonna get upset that you go to Italy and all you hear are monkey chants. You go to Spain and they throw bananas at the dark skinned players, and yet they don't do anything to find the team, find the stadium, find the fans. When racial abuse, I think Arsenal, when they played against Slavia Prague last week, I'm glad that the 3 players that scored, I'm glad that the 3 players that scored were black skin because Slavia Prague didn't defend their black players from racially abused. So it's just like I love the fact that they were together and all the Arsenal players and Andre Lacazette was in front of them and like kneeled in front of them right at the half-line mark. Like that is just empowering right there. But this is a whole bigger issue in the Super League, and once again, FIFA and UEFA failed to see it. I'm sorry on my longest rant, guys, but it just bothers me. It bothers me. Other than
It was definitely an interesting story, to say the least. I don't think anybody expected that, for it to be that. I think to be that
Controversial.
demanding of the teams who were going in.
It came out of
You can't do
nowhere.
this, you can't do that. It really did come out of nowhere, but it shows the power of the fans, and it shows the
It does.
power of every, and I think that's the biggest story to find here, is that although they're billionaires and they eventually, it's their teams, they can do what they want. We think we proved that they really can't. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah,
good,
most definitely.
good on the fans. Good on the fans who did that. Honestly, because that would have been, yeah, you're right. It really would have diluted the Champions League, no doubt.
It would diluted the leagues, domestic leagues, everything, dilute everything. The money will go away. Sometimes the teams that get promoted sometimes bank on this television money because it's more money that's coming into their pocket, and they could always spread it out to make their teams better. They could always, it's more than just that, Jose. It's like the money they receive revenue wise from fans, jersey sales, TV money. These owners, especially the teams that get promoted, that get basically like the scrap of the players, unless they do like a big splash, like they lose out on that money. And that's another thing too. They miss out on the big games where the big dogs come to town and play against them. Before we go to John real quick, let me go on Facebook real quick and see what's the comment. Naeem says that JP Morgan had a boat with tons of cocaine. They were funding for the league. They were cleaning that money. He also goes last saying, also, a lot of those teams had greedy Americans behind it. Yeah, like I said, Man U. I know it's Man U, Liverpool, Arsenal, and Tottenham. Which I don't know why the Big Six. Tottenham hasn't even won in like 700 years, so I don't even know why they're considered Big Six. But whatever, that's neither here nor there.
Same with
Our own
Arsenal.
Jonathan. Arsenal hasn't won a league in like 15 years. Oh, it's about to be 20 actually, and since 04. CR7, the GOAT, Jonathan goes on and said, I guess he decides to, when I was going on my rant, to comment. Naeem also goes, not besides the point, what is a beautiful game for fans for those lower level teams that get, play these bigger teams, pretty much gets taken away. And if this league actually started, FIFA threats and be a bluff, right? You can't have the World Cup without all those star players, right? Exactly. Plus, since we're having the World Cup for corrupt reasons at Qatar, but that's another story for a whole another day. Hi, mamas. Hey, what's up? Another special guest. Hi.
Baby Oli, what it do?
What it do, baby Oli?
Hey, gorgeous.
But it just goes to show, like Jose said, the fans are the biggest reason why they're the game's still
out.
here. Yeah, exactly. The fans were very loud. They were very boisterous. Former players, players of teams that they actually played for. We're going out. They said rest in peace football from the founding of the club to 2001. Ed Woodward, one of the owners for Manchester United, pulled out. He was an American-owned player, American-owned owner for Manchester United. He pulled out. He left. I want Stan Kroenke, owner of the Arsenal players, also owner of the LA Rams. I want him out because he hasn't done diddly squat for Arsenal since he's been here for 10, 12 years. What does it say about Liverpool? I think the Liverpool owner, I think was his name, Walsh, I think he actually came out with a video saying, hey, sorry, and I don't care. I could care less about Tottenham. And I know Chelsea and City were the first ones to pull out anyways, because I know, they wanted to pull out and stuff like that. Hey, one thing, big ups to Borussia Dortmund, Bayern Munich, and PSG for not even considering it to even come into this league too as well. So big ups to them. Guys, I know it's more near dear to my heart than it is to both of you guys. John probably feels a little bit more. Jose he basically started last week. And I know it's more near and dear to my heart because, like I said, I've been playing this sport since I was 5, but it bothered me to my soul, bothered me to my core because, like, it's taking away everything.
It's taking away joy of the sport, honestly.
It is.
Look, to piggyback off what you said, man, look, and I know you're giving credit to those that backed out. I personally don't, because I feel like, bro, y'all already agreed to do it. You just backed out because you saw how bad it makes you look, how bad it makes them look. Like, there's already a target on your back even more next year. Like, the fact that, like, it's going to take a while to forget this. Like, it's like, bro, like, every time we going forward, if I'm a smaller team, every time I play any of those 12 teams, it's like, bro, they thought they were better than us, that they wanted to go join their own league, bro.
That's a
like,
good point.
Right.
I'll never
That's a
forget
great point. No, exactly.
I'll never forget that. I don't care if you were the first to back out, second, third. It don't matter, bro. You guys agreed to go join. Target on your back for sure.
You really don't blame the players, man. You blame more of the
owners.
You're not gonna blame the players, but at the end of the day, though,
right?
You going after that team.
Yeah.
They play for that team. Right. That's who you're going after. You hate the owners. I mean, let the players try to do like a boycott, which risk. if it went through, I could see something where the players would have boycotted it, which would have been
exactly.
something else crazy. But it's just like, bro, aside the fact, like, you guys think you're better than, and look, I'll be honest with you, I wouldn't put none of the English Premier League teams with Real, Barcelona. I'm a little biased with Juve, but Juve has, like, I just wouldn't put the Premier League teams up there with the other teams. I'd put Bayern and Borussia Dortmund and PSG before them. You know, so it's just like, bro, like, the fact, like, teams like the Spurs thought, like, oh, we're better, we deserve to be in our own league with Real and Barcelona and Atletico Madrid, bro, miss me with that, bro. You guys, no, absolutely not. That's
They
why I
haven't
just
won a
like,
title. They haven't won a title in like 30, 40
no
years.
disrespect to your team, even Arsenal.
Even them. Yeah,
Even Arsenal,
I even agree with you. I even agree with you on that. I get it. They have won FA Cup. They won the FA Cup last year, and they have, and they.
Bro.
That's
I mean,
their
what?
main important thing.
I think
But like that,
the two biggest English Premier League teams, like, as far as a threat, you know, to the other big European teams, is probably Man City and Chelsea. Man U somehow always blows it. But even then, like, when's the last time one of them won the Champions League? And it's like, bro, like, and then this is the thing, bro, like I said earlier, it defeats the whole purpose of Champions League, bro. Like, Champions League, bro, you have hope for an underdog team to make it every year, upset the big giants. Even like your team, like, you know, you get to see Ronaldo possibly beating his old team. If Messi goes to Man City, he can beat his old team in the Champions League, bro. You know, Neymar beat Barcelona, stuff like that, bro. Like, you want to see that, and it's like, bro, to be honest, I would give more credit to a big team winning the Champions League than a big team winning their little Super League.
right. I mean, and also, you know, you take the value, go back 4 or 5 years ago with Leicester City winning the Premier League, right? You don't get that because they beat the top 6 of Europe. You know, they had a, you know, kept going back-to-back clash with Arsenal that year. I know that by the last 4 or 5 games, they were just away from like 2 or 3 points. Arsenal was away. Arsenal found a way to blow that, and by 10 points, Leicester ended up winning the whole entire thing. So you take that away from fans too as well, like, you know what I mean? So it's just it's like yes, it was frustrating. Yes, you're right. The perfect response, and very agree. And the perfect response, and I'm gonna end with this, guys, and I would like to thank everything. Oh, before I go, Carp says, I'm glad fans protest to change their minds of the owners to make right choice. I started to think about the who instead of thinking
about the money.
Yeah, but he put Eistedt. But instead of thinking about the money, the legacy, I know, of teams and their league prestige is more important than moolah, which is true. And then I guess you and Naeem are having a whole conversation amongst your guys' selves. And but the thing is, I'm gonna end it like this, guys. Leeds United, the game against Liverpool was the perfect response for them of talking about Champions League. You earn it. You know, and
absolutely.
And that was in front of their shirts for the players. I forgot the message from the back, but I wanted that shirt, and I think Leeds had a perfect response. And for them being the first team, the first game after the Super League, and for them to tie the way that they did in the last couple of seconds, hate on me because I like Chelsea. That's from Cards, and the last
took Cards that can have Hazard back, bro.
It is just one of those. It's a perfect response, and the way that they tie the game is just pure magic, and that's the beauty of the game. John Canali Sports Podcast. Yes, we went longer, but we missed it. We missed you guys. We missed doing this. We missed you guys. We'd like to thank everybody from Carbs, Naeem, John, Tony. Who else am I missing? Who else am I missing? I'm missing somebody. I think that's pretty much it. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Jesus. Yeah, his dad. Hey, daddy. And also the kids. Luz and Eva, Adam, Oli, myself here. We'd like to thank you guys. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for listening. We'll be back next week, hopefully even better and not this long too as well. But, you know, we messed up. We missed you guys. I missed you guys, even though we hang out, but I missed you guys doing this. So, John Canali Sports Podcast here on Facebook Live. John DePlayo and Luz, Jose Contreras and Oli. Myself and my headphones. We'd like to thank you guys. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. See you guys next week. Peace.
See you guys.